streaming too. You'll see us looking at our phones as we try to determine
And
if
there
we're
we go.
live.
It's up finally.
Yay! We're live. All right. So today we've got stories.
Really?
Ugh, my hair's doing weird things there. All right. But before that, I guess we should introduce ourselves. And guess what? Today is episode 1 of season 3,
Because it's now,
2012.
yes.
Something.
Because it's the first of the year.
Yep. So I'm David. This is
Jeff.
welcome to our podcast. If you have not been here before, we welcome you with somewhat open arms, unless you're stinky and smelly, and then we don't want to hug.
I don't want to hug
Stay
anyway.
over there.
Stay away anyway.
Oh, okay. You don't
We
like
still,
hugs?
I can open my arms and they can still stay over there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, if this is your first time tuning in or listening to our podcast, like and subscribe because we're awesome. But what are the stories we're talking about today? We don't have a lot to talk about. You know, it's the new year. There's not a lot going on, right?
Oh boy, there's enough going on that it's pissing off a lot of people.
Well,
Hopefully
as
when Congress
someone
gets
I've
back in.
heard says, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on.
That was Confucius, wasn't it?
Sure was.
Mm.
So what are we pissed off about today?
Fraud, and more,
More fraud?
Fraud, yes.
So that's our big story of the day. Probably going to take out most of our podcast unless we get rabbit-tailed. And then Trump's AG wins again.
Yeah. And
So Pam Bondi's actually doing a pretty good job.
on one side, I absolutely, and then there's other things, not so much. So
It's quite a large organization.
it is a
the
large
DOJ.
thing. Yes.
We're going to talk about Harmeet Dillon.
Yep.
Because she's a fun one. She had some fun time.
And her knitting. We're going to concentrate on her knitting.
Exactly. She knit a cashmere beanie
Mm-hmm.
and a couple sweaters.
Yep.
They look pretty nice. And then there's this thing that people are talking about doing called a tax strike. And we'll talk about why you probably shouldn't do that. So, first off, fraud. Well, let's start off first with the fraud found by Kelly Loeffler, which is
Small
she's-
Business Administration Administrator for
Yep.
Trump.
so she there's now if you've been unaware, haven't watched the news or anything, there's a state called Minnesota where there's a lot of illegal immigrants.
Did you know that they have the smallest cans of soda?
Is that because they're called Minnesota?
That's because they're called mini soda.
gosh.
That's why.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But there's like these Somalians there, and they seem to be defrauding us. And we'll get to that main story in a second.
Yeah.
This is the secondary story of the SBA has reviewed fraudulent pandemic PPP and EDL loans approved in Minnesota. What?
Fraudulent loans from the government that you don't have to pay back? Shocking that people
just
would
weird.
lie.
Well, the EDIL loans you do have to pay back some of them.
No. Some
There's
of
two
them.
different types.
Yeah.
One type you had to pay back, the other type got forgiven.
I mean,
Approximately 69,000 Minnesota borrowers were suspected of fraud, and there was approved 79,000 PPP and EDL loans worth $400 million.
that's small change. Nancy Pelosi got for her husband. They got a PPP loan. What was $10 million? They didn't have to repay just themselves. I think it was.
It's just insane. But this is just the tiny little nugget
Yeah.
of fraud so
Yep.
far. So, and they need to continue looking at this program, PPP loans and EIDL loans and ERC stuff, and they need to figure it out. But the problem is the statute of limitations on those things are running out relatively quickly. Yeah, if you can prove fraud. But a lot of them, there's going to be definite, like, provable fraud they knew and intentionally did things wrong. But there's going to be a lot of cases where people are just idiots and filled out the application and just got money that they weren't supposed to get because they filled out their application wrong. And those aren't fraud, and therefore those statutes of limitations are going to run out.
Yeah. But there's also SBA fraud
Yep.
that they need to be looking at all across the U.S.
Well, they changed the requirements on SBA loans. You no longer cannot give women, minorities, and other
Right.
classes priority above normal people, which will reduce fraud immensely. Because guess what? Illegal immigrants were able to get free loans for all kinds of crap, and that should not be the case. And me, as a white man, I didn't get the same good terms.
Right.
Actually, they should give me better terms on my loans.
It should be based on merit.
They should fix it.
Yeah.
What, merit? No.
I know. What a strange
So
concept.
before we move on to the next story that is related to this story, tell us why we can't import people from third worlds who have different worldview than us. Why it's a bad idea.
Let's see. If you grow up in a country, and I'm not picking on any country any specific country, but if you grow up in a country where it's common to bribe a police officer, it's common to bribe a politician, it's expected and day-to-day happens.
Yes.
Then you come into a country where that's frowned upon greatly. You're going to continue that fraud.
Yep.
Because that's what you grew up with. And I don't care if it's Somalia, like this group. I don't care if it's Mexico. I don't care if it's you name it.
Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I don't care.
Peru, Brazil.
I don't care. If you grow up in a situation and that's how you've done business, is to do business, it has to be bribery.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do.
And the goal isn't to fill out your forms properly.
Right.
It's to do everything you can do to get away with everything you can get away with.
Right. And so you bring in third worlders, you're going to bring in their problems, you're going to bring in their culture.
Well, and we in the United States have created a society of a high trust society. And the whole purpose of a high trust society is the citizens are supposed to be moral, and so they police themselves.
Like, for example, you should be able to be mowing your lawn in the front lawn in your cul-de-sac, turn your mower off, leave it sitting on the front lawn, walk in, get a drink, go to the bathroom, come back out, and your mower's still there.
Correct.
Most countries in the world,
Yeah.
you left it there,
It's gone.
it's gone.
It's not your mower anymore.
Yeah. And I'm even talking England.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they did import the third world.
Correct. But I was talking to some English people a few years back.
Yeah.
And I was driving them around, and they were like, there's a guy just left, what's the mower doing out there on this guy's lawn? That's why I brought it up, because I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I said, well, he's probably in there getting a drink or something. They go, well, if it was in England, we'd have picked it up and taken it.
It's just terrible.
And I'm like, really?
Someone else's property.
Well, obviously he wasn't using it.
Property rights matter.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is, if you've gone far enough down the communist, Marxist, socialist hole and grown up in that, property rights don't matter.
Yeah.
And so you bring them in like that, maybe in a couple of generations, if you dissolve that culture enough that you'll get the couple of generations down, you'll get them out of that morals hole they're in, but it's unlikely.
Well, that's why we used to have standards for bringing people in the U.S.
Correct.
And those standards were economic, social, and ethical.
And physical.
And physical. Yeah.
You couldn't be sick.
Can't be sick. You have to have good morals.
Yep.
Can't be a criminal.
And willing
you have
to
have
assimilate.
The financial ability to succeed.
Well, yeah, you had to be able to assimilate, and you had to want to assimilate. You had to really. It was actually assumed that you were going to learn English quickly.
Yes.
And now that's
a story I don't have about the CDLs, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
All right, other fraud. So, moving on from SBA loan fraud. Should we start here? Maybe we'll start here.
We'll start here. The one that went viral.
So this is Nick Shirley, and most people know who he is now. He wasn't that well known before. I mean, he was doing stuff, but wasn't doing that much stuff.
He was a Utah guy, by the way.
Yeah, well,
local.
I'm not going to talk about that. I have my opinions about Utah people.
Well, I do too. But that's how small he was.
Yeah, yeah.
In reality, he was just a small little guy doing, it's not non-mainstream reporting because he didn't work for a company. He worked for himself, and he went to Minnesota and spent, what was it, about a week up there, I think.
Yeah.
Trying to go to these places that were daycare
All
centers.
he did is pulled a list of daycares
that had
and their hours.
that had non-white names would be an easy way to
Yes.
do it.
And he just knocked on the doors.
And just knocked on the doors, right, and said, "Where's the kids?
And what did they say?
Go away, blankety blankety
They
blank."
none of her either didn't answer,
Yep.
wouldn't answer, had no kids. He
Yep.
asked the neighbors around them. No, there's never been any kids.
No playgrounds, windows blacked out, doors locked in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
This whole thing.
Yep.
He has now had more coverage with this video, and he put up the full 42-minute video. He has had now more coverage than all of the traditional media combined.
Yeah.
On X.
And let me see if I can find that while you keep talking.
He's had
Oh,
death
it's right there.
threats. He's had, yeah.
So this
And this is CBS.
this is one of the many. I can pull up more if I need
Yeah.
to, but you know what CBS did to see if there was fraud in Minnesota? They went to the government and said, "Is there fraud?" And you know what the government said?
No.
No, there's not. And so they're like, clearly, Nick Shirley is a liar.
Well, and then they did
Because the
something
government
even,
officials said there's no fraud.
yeah, but they did something even better than that.
Yeah, what they do.
They called 10 of the daycare centers that were on the list.
10 of
Okay,
them? How
10
many were
of
on the
them.
list?
Hundreds.
Okay.
They called 10 of them, and they got one to answer.
Yep.
And they said, "Are you guys committing fraud?" And their answer was, "No, we're not." And CBS was like, "See? No fraud."
Clearly, I mean, if you confront the fraudster and say, "Are you committing fraud?" and they say no, then they're clearly not committing fraud.
Right.
I mean, why would they lie to you? They
Exactly.
clearly haven't been lying before. So why would they lie to you about that? I'm going to look something up real quick. Okay, look at that. I posted a tweet about this that I thought was, I don't tweet that much because, well, I got things to do. But what did I say? Yeah, these are my posts. It should be on here somewhere. Oh, there it is. All right, I'll just pull this up real quick. I'd like to point out, in light of the Minnesota fraud, that if you were unaware, from a statistical perspective, up to 80% of employees will commit fraud if they think they can get away with it. That is
Sadly, it doesn't
true,
surprise me.
Regardless of race, religion, ethnicity.
Socioeconomic.
Yep, doesn't matter. If they think they can get away with it, they will do it. And then you import third world wars who this is literally what they are used to.
Right. This is how you do it. If you can do it, you do it. Yeah.
That number goes up to 100%.
Well, probably statistically 100. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So
always exceptions.
the only way to prevent small data fraud, the way to reduce the likelihood of fraud, you can't always get rid of that 100% because there are people who, as a CPA, one of the things you learn is there's 3 types of people who commit fraud. Well, people who commit it out of necessity, so they're having a hard time, and so they're like, I'll do this one thing, and then I'll just pay the money back and be fine. And the second set of person are the ones who are opportunists and kind of see an opportunity and take advantage of it. The third set is the people that you need to worry about the most. They're actively always looking for opportunities and want to commit fraud at any given moment. Those are the problem people.
Yeah.
The other two, there's ways you can put it into practice that can kind of keep them from doing things. The third class, you just have to fire them if they're an employee.
Yeah.
Because they're going to try to commit fraud no matter what. So accountability, though. Accountability and transparency are how you stop fraud. Because people aren't going to commit fraud if they think they're going to get caught.
Yeah.
And it has to be a high likelihood that they think
Yes.
they're going to get caught, like at 80 to 90% likelihood.
And that's the problem right now with our government and all of the NGOs and all of the grants and all of there's the likelihood of anybody even having to pay the money back, let alone going to jail for it, is slim to none. So it's insane.
There's no accountability. There is no transparency.
The Pentagon just failed its 9th straight audit.
It can be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
The Pentagon's big, so that would be quite the tax to fix it. But yes, it could be fixed.
And it needs to be.
Oh, and definitely needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
But it will not be an easy task.
Yeah.
So, the Trump administration, of course, is kind of coming out and doing all kinds of stuff. They put out this update about their crackdown.
What they're going to try to crack down on. The problem that I see is right now the numbers are so low, but it takes time to do fraud.
Unlike the
cases.
Democrats, who will find a jury in a jurisdiction that will convict the person you put up there for any and all reason with no evidence.
Or
The Trump administration is actually trying to put together evidence to make sure they get a conviction.
or the opposite of that, which is happening in Minnesota right now. There have been 3 different judges
Oh, yeah, those
that
just
have dismissed jury convictions,
Yes.
unanimous jury convictions
Of fraud.
of fraud. And so you have the opposite, and that's the same thing within D.C. Trump's running into an issue with the D.C. Grand juries where they refuse to convict, to submit for trial. What's it called when a grand jury does it?
Indictment.
Indictment. They refuse to indict anybody who's non-white. Simple as it gets. They're racist. And so Trump he's been shifting his trials to the federal courts there instead of the state courts.
Which is what he should be
DC
doing.
court, he needs to.
So before we move on to that, Nick Shirley posted a couple other things. He's given details on how these things were.
Yeah, because
We're done.
everybody claimed that, this isn't happening.
So there's lots of evidence of there. He has been posting lots of evidence out there. So you just go look. And then, of course, NPR is amazing. They're this great editorial. I mean, they're definitely not biased. They're definitely in it for the right reasons, right?
Oh, they're in it all right.
So how did they go about proving that there was no fraud? They didn't care. They ignored the fraud.
Yep.
And said, Nick Shirley is
He's alleges fraud.
They're essentially saying Nick Shirley is a fraud.
And he's alleging all of this. Yeah. So he said without citing specifics.
It's just such bull crap. I mean, if you don't hate the mainstream media, the corporate press,
You haven't been paying attention.
that you need to hate them. And if you do hate them already, you need to hate them more.
Yeah. Every time something like this comes out, I'm like, I thought I hated him enough.
Next time NPR asks you for specifics about how you've been assaulted, tell them you've been misgendered.
I know.
Guaranteed sympathetic coverage.
I doubt it. But yes.
Yes.
It goes to show and then this is one of the funniest things that came out of it. I mean, it's just because it's so
completely, utterly
bizarre.
insane.
Yes.
So this guy here who has, I think there's like $1,000 glasses, by the way.
You mean frames?
Yeah, the frames are very expensive. Came out and said, well, we don't have any records because someone broke in and stole them all. Yes, they're going to break into your child's care facility, not steal anything of value like computers.
Yeah. I don't know.
Monitors,
maybe they have this paper
TVs.
fetish.
They must have. Must be it.
And because you wouldn't want to store any of this on a computer, this all needs to be written by hand.
So,
Anyhow, it was hilarious. There've been memes all over the internet about this guy, and it's been And then a couple of the news media statements used him as proof there's no fraud.
Oh, yeah.
Two.
Well, again, going back to who do you ask to determine if there's fraud?
Yeah.
You ask the fraudster, of course. You just go straight there. It's like back during 2020 when people were trying to question the oddities in that election, and they asked the people counting the votes,
Yeah.
were there any irregularities?
No.
Well, your job is to make sure there are none, and guess what you're going to say? No, because you want to keep your job.
Yeah, it's dumb.
So stupid. So stupid. So we talked about this a little bit. Trump's cracking down on it. Pam Bondi launched a bunch of, went through and detailed all this. And then there was a bunch of pushback, and we're like, hey, the Biden administration was the ones who originally started looking into the feeding our future thing. And clearly it has nothing to do with the Trump administration. It was all Biden who did this. It's like,
Right.
Biden was in office for 4 years, and how many convictions did he get out of it?
None.
So it doesn't matter how he got some. I think there were a handful. None of them were publicly announced because he didn't want it to make him look bad.
And they're,
So it doesn't matter how many people he convicted. He didn't convict enough. It wasn't public. No one knew about it.
and so
He was trying to
everybody's
hide it.
everybody's
So,
gonna
of
continue
course, Pam Bondi, they're going to pick up an investigation that looked like it was good or had some meat to it and continue looking into it and convicting people as they should. What are you saying that just because the Biden administration started something and did a terrible job at it, that the Trump administration shouldn't pick it up and actually do the right job?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stupid. People, so stupid. So stupid. So yeah. We'll have this in one of our links, but you can go through and see all the people who've been convicted of different things through this. This is just the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg. Because the same type of fraud is happening in pretty much every state at varying levels.
Yes. And with pretty much every representative we have at a federal level and every senator that we have at a federal level, they're involved in some
A lot
way.
of them are. Not all of them. A lot of them are. Did you see our great senator here in Utah is getting looked at for committing fraud?
Is it the
John Thune or whatever?
John Thune is the...
I thought it was our senator.
No, it's Mike Lee and John Curtis.
Oh, John Curtis.
Thune is the head of the Senate. He's the...
Okay, so I guess he's not here. But
Smurfing. That's the word I was looking for.
there you go. Yeah. So it's not Utah, but that's okay.
No, our senator here, Curtis, had better returns on his stock investments than Nancy Pelosi. How about that?
So there's a complaint filed against John Thune
Thune, I think.
about
whatever.
smurfing. If you don't know what smurfing is it's claiming people who didn't donate to you donated to you to get around the max amount of donations.
Correct.
It's not good. It is done literally all the time by the Democrats.
And the Republicans.
And the Republicans, but I think the Democrats do it more often than the Republicans do.
Yeah.
But
that's what Act Blue was.
I'd be fine with him getting rid of him.
Replacing
him with a MAGA guy.
I would.
Full on MAGA.
I'm willing, like I've said before, just to take a random drawing from each state and replace all of our representatives and all of our senators, and only have them be there.
I
for
have
2
issues
terms.
with it, but
it'd be better than what we've got.
Yeah. All right. So moving on from fraud, though there's a lot, and we could talk about it for hours more.
And be
moving
upset.
on to some good news.
Very good news.
Our AG, Pam Bondi, who a lot of people dislike, has won again. Or is still winning.
Yep.
The DOJ has got the Ninth Circuit, which is weird because the Ninth Circuit is quite liberal.
Yes.
To strike down the California ban on open carrying in counties with 200 or more residents as unconstitutional, which it is.
It'll go to SCOTUS. SCOTUS has got a rule on it.
Or they'll just say they're not going to because the
Right, and leave
prior
it.
ruling was sufficient.
And they might, but that's a ruling. And then, but the neat thing, the funny part about this is, do you know why they struck it down?
No.
It's because they said it was based on race. This was specifically put in place to stop the Black Panthers carrying AK-47s to the polling centers.
That's amazing.
And they said specifically because it was based on race, it's gone.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of rules that should be gone because of that.
Yeah. But I thought that was hilarious, that's the reason it was gone.
Redistricting maps should be gone because of that.
Utah, we didn't get to talk about that, but Utah has probably the most important case going right now.
Because their districting case is going to the
It's not yet because of the way the judge played it.
Yeah.
And so it'll take a while, but it'll go up.
It shouldn't take a while. We have midterms coming up.
I know. The only thing what needs to happen, which won't happen in Utah because our government's corrupt, is what needs to happen is the legislature just needs to ignore the judge.
Oh, 100%.
And just go, you don't have a right to do this. And just move on.
I would be good with that.
Yeah.
I would be good with that. So that's the win of the day. I'm sure there's other wins, but that was the positive one that I saw.
Yep, that was a big
and
one.
now we get to talk about Harmeet Dillon because she's lots of fun. She does knitting. So this is one of the ones that she's won on.
This is amazing. I didn't know you could do this, but this is pretty amazing. Is you could go, if you were a Minnesota voter,
already registered,
and you could go to the polls in Minnesota, and you could say, hey, my buddies here, I'm vouching for them. They all get to vote.
I think it was up to like 8.
Yeah, 8. That's what I said, 8. My 8 buddies here, and they get to vote. I'm vouching for them.
And then they get registered, and then they can vouch for 8 buddies as well.
Correct.
Do you know how many fraudulent votes are in Minnesota? Because of this one law, not regarding all the other crap they do.
Yep. How many fraudulent votes we have in Utah?
Oh, I'm sure tons. Because they give driver's license to illegals. So
correct.
But Harmeet Dillon's, she's doing so much stuff. But that's one of the things she's doing. And then she went after the mayor of Seattle, and will be suing her if she needs to, because she said that Nick Shirley was creating hate crimes by knocking
reporting
on doors and asking questions.
I don't know if you know anything about this mayor. This lady is a true awful, and she is absolutely
what's awful stand for again?
Nuts.
White, affluent, liberal female.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not quite the order you had them in, but yes. And she said that she's not going to allow grocery stores to shut down in her city.
That's not how that works. If you don't have tax funds to cover it. It's like California. We could talk about that for a second. Bernie Sanders is a moron. If you didn't know, Bernie Sanders is a moron. He is a complete sellout and a moron. And you can know that by the presidential election he ran in. Instead of standing up and be like, no, you guys are stealing this from and giving it to someone else. He just folded to the powers that be. Part 2 of that is, if you look at his rhetoric from the past, he was talking about millionaires, taxing millionaires.
Yes,
and
now he's talking about billionaires.
Why is that?
Maybe it has to do with his 3 homes he owns, and he has never had a job outside of government in his entire life. He's never had a job outside of government.
So him and other morons like him would like a wealth tax on billionaires. And you know what happened on December 31st because of this for California?
I'm trying to think.
One, a oil refinery company.
Oh, yes.
Spent $1 billion. Yes, $1 billion. Spent $1 billion to leave California.
Correct.
Peter Thiel, who's a billionaire, and his private equity company announced on December 31st they are no longer in California. So did, I think, David Sachs. No, he's the...
Well, New York's going to have the same thing.
They're talking about how you just have to tax the billionaires, and they'll leave.
Yeah.
They'll just leave.
Yeah.
Because
And
they
they'll
have
take
the
their
money
companies
to.
with them.
Oh, yeah, they take the kind of... Because by moving their offices and all the employees go with them. So it's like if back in the day, this is probably like 10 years ago now, maybe earlier. One of the ways California would budget is they would predict how much a company would make on an IPO and include that in their revenue number to balance their budget. Do you know how often the IPO numbers they put together in their budget were completely wrong?
Every time.
Yep. So they're going to run out of money, and they're going to have... I don't know how that works, but I feel like the federal government's going to have to come in and just take over.
They put them into receivership. They did it to Detroit.
That's what they need to do.
And they haven't done it to a state yet, but they did it to Detroit.
They're going to have to do it to a state because they keep on spending more and more money, and they're shoving their tax base out the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's a side quest that we just went on. Back to Harmeet.
Yes, Harmeet
Dillon. So this was fun. My goodness, people, you're going to have to make me put down my knitting and explain the statute of limitations to you. People are idiots. And if you think people on X know what they're talking about, the majority of the time they don't unless they prove it to you. They have to literally prove it to you. So she just explains here how there are statutes of limitation, but you're an idiot because you don't understand when it starts.
Yes.
And she clarified relatively quickly that there are all kinds of things that they could find to restart the statute of limitation. Because how it works is the statute of limitation doesn't start from the date the criminal act occurred. It starts from the date when the Justice Department found the criminal act.
Or it was exposed. In some way.
In some way.
Like, for an example, the Nick Shirley exposing all of the fraud. So there's statutes of limitations being kicked in by the fraud being exposed.
Correct. So anything with the January 6th committee, with Jack Smith, any of these things, all they have to do is find a new thing that they did, and the statute of limitations starts again.
Yeah. Like they just found out this week that Jack Smith lied before Congress.
Oh, great.
Repeatedly.
Now, new statute of limitations.
Right. So they just found out. They have absolute proof that he lied to Congress.
So she goes through and kind of explains it, and then there's a bunch of morons. So many morons in the comments that are like, no, you're wrong. I know better than you. No, you don't. Yeah. She's way smarter than you are.
Well, not just that. She's got way more experience in this than we do. I think I'd take her.
Yeah, I would take her
experience.
And so we did talk about this. I'm gonna have to find it.
Her knitting.
Her knitting. Yeah. Maybe it's not. Is this her personal or is this her? Oh,
yeah, right there.
There's one of the one of the hats she knitted. There you go.
It's actually it's
she
pretty
did quite
awesome.
Good job. Yeah, she did quite a good job.
Yep. So she travels a lot, and I guess that's what she does when she travels.
Makes sense.
Is keeps her hands busy. I don't know.
So I like this guy. He's pretty logical. Sometimes he's not that great, but most of the time he is. And he's pointing out that Trump hasn't been in office less than a year.
It seems like forever.
The expectations set in posts like the one below are ridiculous. Correct. The idea that he would have 100% wrapped up with a bow in less than a year, this preposterous is yes. It is.
Like illogic.
Correct.
Yes.
Calm down.
Exactly.
I agree with him. So, Harmeet Dillon's doing an awesome job. So are a lot of the other officials that the Justice Department. One of the things that he and other people have pointed out is when Trump got into office and appointed all the people he wanted at the Justice Department, a lot of people quit. And then
thousands of them.
What did she do to cause a bunch of people? She appointed an assistant AG, and then a bunch of people quit.
Yep.
So we have to fill a lot of these positions.
And then Senate refused to do their job.
They finally got around
And
to
they
it.
finally
He's
got around
actually
to it.
gotten a lot of his
Yeah, but
approved.
about 9 months later, they finally
they
got
did.
around to it. So they should have, in Joe Biden's administration, it took him 2 to 3 months to get all of his cabinet and all of the appointments done. Trump still doesn't have his done. He's got a big chunk of them done now. Finally, took him almost a year to get a big chunk done. Yeah,
So it's just
it's ridiculous.
there's a lot of work to be done. It's a massive organization,
Yeah.
and you need lots and lots of lawyers.
Yep.
Lots and lots of good lawyers.
And
then
by the way, if
Thomas-
you are a lawyer and want to join
oh yeah, she
the
has job
Justice
openings.
Department,
You should just message her. She'll help you out.
she'll help you out. She's put it up on X a bunch of times.
Yes. The other thing I'll point out is these morons in House, Thomas Massey and MTG, passed this law to require the Epstein files to be released, which is taking 200 attorneys from the Justice Department to review 5 million files
It's because they just found 5 million files.
instead of doing other things that are more important.
Correct. So you have to have.
Oh, and he came out and said, "Oh, there's no list. Oh, I don't have a list of names." Yeah, he's an idiot. A performative moron. He's being paid to be in Congress, to perform acts to stay in Congress. That
I don't
seems
know
what
what-
it's like.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems weird what's happened over the last bit.
Yeah.
This is another thing that just popped up today, I think.
This one?
It's
Tom Holman's awesome if you didn't know.
Yep. So Biden's Justice Department, no, HHS Department lost 500,000 children.
Yes.
They were smuggled in, and then they lost track of 300,000 of them.
They didn't even try to track them. What
They
are you talking
didn't.
about?
But
When they came to the border,
yep,
they would have a phone number written on their arm, and all they would do is call the number and say, "Do you want to pick this kid up?" And they'd say yes. They didn't look into it. They didn't
Yep.
make sure it was a family member, parent,
nope,
make sure the kid wasn't being trafficked. They just let him go.
yep. And so they've now found 129,000 of
Which
these
is
kids
amazing.
so far. That is truly amazing.
That's awesome work.
Yeah.
There's still tons more to go, but that's awesome work.
Yeah, it's not even half, but it's amazing. And that's in 1 year. So that's the amazing part about it. This 1 year.
And then this section,
Yes.
which is terrible,
Oh,
which is
gosh.
not surprising though. Biden and anyone in the administration who allowed this to happen should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law,
I agree.
put in Guantanamo Bay or something. I don't know. Because a lot of these child were living a life of hell. They were sold in the sex trade or child labor and being abused.
Yeah.
So he
It's
is
horrific.
a saint.
I think it's fantastic.
He's doing great work.
Yep.
Great work.
if
Even if we
nothing
don't
else,
get the 20 million illegals,
50 million.
50
I want
million.
50 million now.
whatever,
I know.
kicked out of the country, even if only you did like 10 to 20 and we find all the kids, I'm happy.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, this right here. I'll go back to it in a second. Apparently, there's a nationwide tax strike coming soon because, per MTG, do not listen to her. She is an idiot. If you do not file your taxes and pay your taxes, the IRS will arrest you and put you in jail or seize all your assets. Don't be a moron.
The only way this would work is if everybody did it.
Even if everyone did it, I will tell you, even if everyone did it, the IRS would still seize their assets and get their money because they wouldn't have to arrest everyone. They have your bank information. They would file the paperwork, and then everyone's bank accounts would be seized, and they'd take your money.
I would doubt that would happen, tell you the truth. But everybody, the odds of everybody doing it
It's
is
stupid.
slim to none.
Don't be an idiot.
It's slim to none. It ain't gonna happen.
this attorney I follow says, absolutely do not participate in this.
Yes, this is legal advice.
I am not an attorney, so I can't give you legal advice. He is giving you legal advice.
Yes.
As a CPA, I will tell you, don't be an idiot.
Yeah.
It's like the one story I heard. This guy had he worked with an attorney and he thought he found a way to avoid taxes. So he didn't pay any taxes for 5 years. Then after 5 years, the IRS came back and said, you owe us lots of money. And he's like, no, I don't. And it went back and forth. He owed him like $5 million. Don't play around with the government.
Yeah. They're worse than mafia.
Instead of doing this, instead of not paying your taxes, how about you vote for MAGA candidates who will make sure that there isn't fraud?
And perhaps even simpler than that is, let's pay attention in the primaries and vote in the primaries.
Yes, cut out in strong force in the primaries and vote for people who will get rid of this type of fraud and abuse.
You have your vote carries more weight in a primary proportionally. I mean, way more weight.
Because only like 10 to 20% come out for primaries.
Correct. And so your vote is the equivalent of like 10 people voting in a primary that it is in the normal election cycle. So get out, get good people running.
Do we have open primaries in Utah?
We do.
So that means you got to vote twice in the primaries. You need to go vote in the Republican primary for the best Republican, and then the Democrat primary for the worst Republican. Democrat.
For the best Republican.
Well, stack the tables in
do.
your favor.
But my point is that's where you can have more of an impact individually is in the primary. Get people running for challenging all of these rhinos. Get somebody in there, win the primary. Utah has its own strange things going on. But, yeah.
I just have to show you this comment here. I disagree with you. We had a Boston Tea Bar revolution. That was completely different. You didn't stop paying the federal government for taxes. There was a small group of people who threw tea in a harbor. We were getting taxed, blah, 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 all this stuff. I hear you, but I promise you'll end in prison. Yes. Yes, you will. Don't go out, especially if you're publicly saying you're not going to pay taxes.
Yes, they'll come after you.
Don't do that. Don't be an idiot.
And you'll get audited. Even if you don't do it, you'll still get audited.
Yeah, don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. It's the simplest thing is just don't be an idiot.
Yeah.
As Dwight Schrute from The Office said, the best advice Michael Scott had given him was, don't be an idiot.
There you go.
Yeah, don't be an idiot. Well, that's all the stories we got for tonight. We'll keep on posting shorts and reels and all the things as well. But if you liked, please give us a like, subscribe, retweet, repost, listen. Find that friend of yours and say, you listen to this podcast, I'll punch you in the face. Okay, don't punch him in the face. Don't do that. Don't threaten.
This is the same way. Don't go ahead and file your taxes.
But you know, if you see a stranger or have a family, just tell people about it. It's the best way to get it out there for us to get more